The pen trembled slightly in his hand. Not because he was nervous, no. Men like him didn't tremble. They just paused. When something didn't fit their script, he smiled at me, a corporate smile. Polished. Empty. Just sign here, sweetheart. It's standard procedure. The contract lay between us, like a patient on an operating table. Black ink. White paper. My name printed too cleanly for someone my age. 15. Still a child in his eyes. But he didn't see me. Not really. He saw value. I traced the paper with my fingertip, pretending to read it for the first time. I'd already memorized every line, every deception dressed as kindness. The air in his office was heavy with cologne and control. Glass walls, city lights, power reflected in every surface. He leaned back. This clause ensures your family's protection. I'm offering you stability. Education. Opportunity. His words were a cage wrapped in velvet. And as his pen moved toward me, I whispered, calmly, coldly, sorry, but this clause is a trap. Silence. A silence so deep, it swallowed the hum of the air conditioner, the city noise, even his breath. He stared at me. The smile stayed, but his eyes changed. I knew then he wasn't expecting resistance. No one ever told him no. Especially not a 15-year-old girl. It started months ago. The day my mother brought me to his office, trembling from gratitude she didn't owe. He was her boss, the CEO, the man who promised to help. Your daughter has potential, he said, smiling like a saint. She deserves a better life. I remember his watch glinting as he handed me the company envelope. Inside forms, signatures, futures. I was supposed to feel lucky. But luck doesn't smell like ink and control. Since then, I'd been studying his words, his eyes, his patterns. Every meeting had a rhythm: flattery first, persuasion next, silence at the end. He thought silence meant obedience. He didn't know silence was my language. At night, I'd read through the contracts. Lines blurred with corporate fog ownership clauses, confidentiality terms, intellectual rights. Words designed to sound harmless until they weren't. Clause 47. That's where the poison lived. Upon signing, all intellectual properties, creative concepts, and developmental outcomes shall belong exclusively to the corporation. That was me. My ideas. My work. My voice. He wasn't investing in me. He was buying me. I watched him build his empire on stolen ideas, young interns, poor families, desperate minds. They smiled for his camera, believing they'd been chosen. But they'd been erased. And now he wanted me next. For weeks, I said nothing. Silence is sharper than confrontation. It cuts without drawing blood. I let him think he'd won. I smiled, nodded, thanked him for every opportunity. He didn't see the trap I was building in return. Every email I sent, I copied. Every document I received, I saved. Every meeting was recorded on a hidden app, my phone tucked beneath my notebook. He thought I was Navy. He didn't know my silence had memory. One evening, he called me to his penthouse office again. Golden light. Wine poured but untouched. He spoke about my bright future. About trust. Trust. A word he used like a leash. As he talked, I noticed something: the way he leaned in when he lied. His hand always brushed the contract when he wanted control. His smile widened right before a manipulation. I catalogued them all, like equations. Then one night, when the office was empty, I accessed the shared drive. His assistant had forgotten to log out. There were contracts with other interns. All identical. All victims of the same clause. He'd taken every idea, every concept, and made them his. He'd stolen futures and renamed them investments. And my name was next on the list. I printed everything. Labeled, organized. Truth is quieter than lies, but it weighs more. By morning, I was ready. He arrived wearing that same confident grin. The contract sat between us once more. I waited until he leaned in, until the mask felt comfortable on his face. Then I placed another document on top of it. His eyes flicked down confusion, then disbelief. Company letterhead. His own words. His own crimes. Every forged signature. Every stolen clause. He looked up at me. "Where did you get this?" His voice cracked barely. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. He flipped through the pages faster, panic trying to keep pace with silence. Then he found it, my voice, recorded. The meeting where he admitted he owned everything I created. For a moment, he didn't breathe. "Who helped you?" he asked. "No one. Just me. And the silence he taught me to use." He reached for his phone, but I was faster. "I've already sent copies," I said softly. "To your board. Your investors. The press." His smile vanished completely. And for the first time, he looked small. He tried to regain composure. Men like him always do. They think control is a reflex. But silence doesn't negotiate. He leaned forward. "You don't understand what you're doing." I did. Completely. "You think you can destroy me?" he whispered. I shook my head. "You already did that yourself." He looked for mercy. He wouldn't find any. Revenge didn't need shouting or fire. It lived in stillness, the kind that followed exposure. Outside, the city glowed like nothing had changed. But inside this glass tower, his empire cracked one clause at a time. Emails, evidence, truth, all sent, all verified. His company's name would be shredded by morning. The board would remove him before noon. He tried one last thing. A smile. Small. Desperate. "We can fix this." "No," I said. "You can't fix what you built on silence." He looked at me then, not as a child, but as something else. The mirror he'd spent his life avoiding. The office was quiet when I left. No security. No noise. Just city rain tapping against the glass. I walked down the corridor, contract folder in hand, lighter in my chest than I'd ever felt. I didn't need applause. I didn't need forgiveness. I'd given him a taste of what he gave so many others: helplessness disguised as choice. The elevator doors closed, reflecting my face back at me. 15. But older now. In silence, I whispered, not for him, but for myself. Power isn't given. It's taken back. As the elevator descended, the lights flickered once. And when the doors opened to the street, the storm had already begun. Somewhere above, a man was realizing that silence once his weapon had turned against him. And for the first time,